but I undoubtedly have heard more and more people say it just isn't cutting it anymore. Hello everybody, welcome back to Commonwealth. Flipper, welcome to the Commonwealth cabin. I tell you what, I hear a lot of folks out there saying eBay is no longer a viable option for a full-time income. It's hard to do, it's impossible to do, my sales are way down, all kinds of things like that. So I've got a different twist on this argument than I've ever had before, and it resulted from a conversation that I had with a few friends the other day, and I really think that they're right. The way you view eBay as a full-time income and a full-time career, if you will, you probably shouldn't think about it like that anymore, and I don't anymore, but it's a little different than you might think, and I'm excited to talk about it today and some cool sales as well. Let's take a look. You know, I've always made a point to not just talk about my own experience, but to talk to other resellers, to read comments, to read emails, to go out and talk to not just creator resellers, but to people out there actually doing this and get all kinds of input. And there's always all kinds of different stories, different perceptions, different experiences that people are having at the exact same time. But one thing that I've noticed lately, and I'm going to pick up a few items here that we'll talk about. I'm wrong drawer, Mountain Man Treasure. You know, if I'm going to have the arrogance come on here and talk about reselling like I know what I'm doing, I can't just talk about my experience. And so we're going to talk about some other folks, and we're going to talk about the argument that we've all had for a long time. Can you make a full-time living? Is it a career? Is it a job? Is it a pie in the sky? How hard is it? How much time does it take? All that. Blueberry Sugar Pancakes, Bath & Body Works. Brand new. Paid $1. Sold for $12.95 plus shipping. Like I said, this all kind of stemmed from a conversation. It started with a group of guys. Well, it was the Profit Playbook, or the Playbook Profit Podcast. I don't know, I get them mixed up. The PPP. And it was after we recorded that podcast. And then we were just talking. And one of the things that I said, and then it dawned on me that, you know what, this is not just true of me. This is true of all kinds of people. Is that I don't view reselling as my career. I view my career as being self-employed. Like, that's my goal. I want to be self-employed the rest of my life. Now, reselling is a major part of that. But as I listen to other people, as I read other messages, as I talk to local resellers as well, a lot of them are experiencing difficulty right now and having down sales. And when we talk about it a little bit more, some of them aren't experiencing a drop in sales, but the sales that they typically have, even if it's gone up a bit, it's just not enough to make it anymore. And so they're turning to other side gigs. Some of them have returned to a job, but some of them all of them continue to resell. And I wanted to talk about some of those things today and maybe, hopefully, get people to view it in a little different way. And some of you already know this out there, but this is my experience. And as I go forward, this is what I've said. I don't want to go back to teaching. My goal is to be self-employed in some way, shape, or form, and to have reselling be a major, major part of that. Had to grab this out of the eBay cave. This is a Powell Peralta board, and I can't even remember what I paid for it. If I have to tell the truth, I normally remember everything and what I pay for it, but my guess is I probably paid $5 or something like that for this particular board. Took a little while to sell. How you doing, Pepper? It's your time of year, isn't it? That's right, you want a treat. And this board sold for $70, $69.95 plus shipping. So when I start this conversation off, I've always made the argument that I've said 95% of all resellers have another income out there. And I'm curious, and you can tell me below if you have another income. You don't have to tell me what it is, or maybe multiple incomes. My personal belief is that the vast majority of resellers have a job, like a real job, 40 hours a week, whatever it is, or more. And a good chunk of the resellers who don't have a job are retired or have some kind of benefit, living on a pension. Maybe they're on disability, you know, whatever. They have a steady stream of income coming from somewhere else. Maybe even a spouse that makes significant money that has, you know, benefits and all that. Maybe your husband works and you're the reseller. Maybe you work and he's the reseller. Maybe you help with both. You know, all kinds of scenarios. And for me, our goal, and it has been for a long time, long before I started doing social media, was to have my wife not have to go to a job. When I met her, she was working at CVS as a pharmacy tech, and she continued to do that through the early years of our marriage when we had, the kids started to mount up, and these cats. It was better for us, even if it was a little bit less money, for her to help me in reselling, for me to continue to teach, to coach, to make that income come in, and her helping me boost that productivity for reselling didn't make up the money that she was making. The reselling, we were making more, but her boost didn't make up what she was making there. But boy, our life became a lot more free. We felt a lot better about it. And I really feel that that's a lot of people. And so my mindset now is my job is being self-employed. My job, this at this point, my side gig from reselling is social media, or we could argue it's the other way around. Doesn't matter. All that money helps us in some way, shape, or form remain free. I like to say free. But to have that ability to be able to, I work a ton, 75 hours. I work as much now as I ever have in my whole life, especially the last 2 days. It's been crazy. But for me, and my wife, 75 hours a week, you have the freedom. It's hard work, but you have the freedom to bust your tail for a month and then be able to go to the mountains for 4 or 5 days or something like that. And to me, that is invaluable. It is unbelievable to me, and I will do anything to remain self-employed. But in reality, most people out there are trying to find situations in this new economy, this very odd world that's nothing like our parents grew up in, where everybody went to work every day and clocked in and came home and did all that they want to have a steady enough income. And that is not always possible reselling. We all know this, right? You have those days reselling where it's like, oh, that's awesome. I wish every day was like that. And then we have days like I was having 2 days ago where it's like $200 in sales. For me and what I do, that's not enough. That's not enough. And we had a couple of days like that in a row. Today, thank goodness, is a little bit better. And one particular sale was the majority of those sales that day. And this is a roller coaster ride for sure. But I undoubtedly have heard more and more people say it just isn't cutting it anymore. And I'll ask them if I know these people, what did you make? And we'll look at their numbers. And you look at year over year and they're making the same amount, but it's just simply not enough. And that's, obviously prices of things have gone up. I don't know why I went all the way around. That's a Family Guy. Man, we must be down. Whoa. I think there's like two more Family Guy in there. This was, if you remember that sale on the Commonwealth Picker channel, we are down to like 2 pieces left. Maybe 1. I'm not quite sure. Trisha, for whatever reason, Trisha took forever to sell. And it sold for $20.95 plus shipping. So nice to see puppies in here. Y'all haven't been in here very much lately, huh? It's because Mama's been home and up there listing stuff, and you just hang out with her. And many of you may not know this, and I don't know that I've ever said it. I might have said it on the Trash to Cash podcast at one point, but my wife does Uber Eats, which I'm not a huge fan of. I really don't like her doing it, but she kind of does what she wants to do anyways. And I'm like, why are you doing that? She's like, well, hey, I'm sitting here because some days she watches kids. She does that too, and that makes us some money as well. 2 days a week. Some of those days she takes Reagan to practice and she comes home because it's a long practice. Some of the days it's a shorter practice, and so she's got to drive a half an hour there, half an hour back, half an hour there, half an hour back to pick her up. And she's like, this is dumb. I'm not just going to sit here and waste time driving back and forth, eating up gas. I'm just going to stay here for the shorter practices, the 2-hour practice. I'm going to do Uber Eats. I don't care. I'll make some money instead of, if I'm going to, do all this driving for free, unless there's listings to do or something. So she occasionally does that. And that's just one of those things that I'm hearing a lot more about lately with folks, even on YouTube. I see creators. I watch a lot of content. I watch a lot of different creators because I'm always trying to get ideas, new bolos, new whatever. And I'm seeing a lot of folks, maybe not massive channels, smaller channels, they're like, hey, I'm not giving up this reselling gig. I'm going to make my job self-employment, and I'm going to do X or Y or Z. I'm going to deliver pizza. I'm going to do Uber. I'm going to do Lyft. I'm going to do Uber Eats. I'm going to do, I don't know. What's the other one? What's the DoorDash? I think that's what my wife does. DoorDash, not Uber Eats. I have one friend who's taken an opportunity to go to Texas to be, I believe, a chaplain in a motorhome park or something like that. Chris, I'm sorry if I messed it up. And he's going to come back after however long that is, and come back and continues reselling, and then go back again next year. Calvin Falwell bobblehead. So this is a local item. I have no doubt that this is going to go to somebody in Lynchburg, because this is the owner of the baseball franchise here in Lynchburg that's been the Mets in the past, and the Braves and the Pirates and all kinds of teams. And he is kind of famous in this town. Well, he's deceased at this point, but I thought somebody eventually would buy it, and it would probably be from near where I bought it. And it was, and so I paid $1 for this, and it sold for $14.95. Calvin Falwell, famous, well, he's famous in this town for multiple reasons, but he's also the uncle of Jerry Falwell, if you remember him from back in the day. And I can think of so many YouTube resellers who have shows or live shows or podcasts or something, and they're always talking about their side gigs. And whether it's Pittsburgh Picker, and I talk about Daily Cabbage, I know they've done some delivery in the past. Then before that, they used to do yard service. And there's folks who will do that, right? Hey, you know, whatever it takes to piece together enough income to be able to be in control of your life. And then for those folks who have those full-time jobs, it doesn't matter quite as much how well reselling is going. The ones that really get stressed are the ones that, man, my sales dropped 50%. Month over month, or I'm 20% down from last year, and the cost of shipping supplies is way up, and the cost of food and gas and all these things. So even if your store is the same as it was a year ago, you're feeling a bigger pinch. And so they're doing other things, obviously overtime, whatever it is. But for me, thinking about it in this way for the first time is, hey, my job is to be self-employed. What does that entail? Yes, I would love for reselling to be, the massive part of that, not have to do this or that. But a lot of people in this new economy, they see all these creators all over social media, whatever type of creator they are, and they're like, man, they're living this wonderful life and whatever, which, by the way, it's never as wonderful as they present it, of course, but they want that too. And younger people, they don't, like, what do you mean I got to go to work for 45 hours a week and I got to travel and do all this? They don't want it anymore. So piecing together your life and income streams is becoming more important. And so I think most resellers who depend on reselling as a large chunk of their income don't necessarily, the ones who are succeeding don't necessarily see it as the entire income. Let me know your combination of things that you're doing out there to be self-employed, if you are self-employed, and let me know if you have another job and it's not meeting your needs, if you're doing this to meet your needs, or if you're doing this just for the pure joy of it. This next sale is kind of vindication for something I was told I was an idiot for, and I'm like, okay, we'll see. And it didn't sell for a while, so I'm like, maybe I was an idiot, but these two cases finally sold. If you watch the Commonwealth Picker channel, you probably remember, and there was a little bit of controversy with this sale. How many of you moms out there are like my wife, where it's like, yeah, I can do all this, but man, I'm running myself ragged. All these kids and all this family and all the duties you got to do around the house, and it just made it so difficult, and you figured, hey, maybe I can make half the money that I used to, but I can do it at home. This sale right here, Olympus CF type, and then whatever. When I looked it up, there's no keys. People told me how to open it, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I tried, but I couldn't figure it out. So I don't know how to open them. But they have some, I don't know what kind of thing this is. I'll flash it on the screen. But if this thing was full and had the device in it, it's empty. You can tell there's nothing in it. Then it would have been worth a ton of money, thousands. But they were just cases. And I asked him at the sale, I'm like, how much do you want on these? And the guy said $2. At least I thought he said $2. And I gave him $2 a piece, and I'm like, these things should sell for around $100 a piece at least, because I did see a sold comp for $150. And I'm like, I don't know how many times do you want this case? There's no key. Who needs the case for that? Are they using it for something else? I don't really know. And then people's like, he said 3, he said 3, he said 3. And I listened to it again, and I heard 2. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he said 2. Other people said he said 2. And then I listened to it the other day one more time, because I kept seeing those messages. Like, maybe he did say 3. But anyway, I paid $2 a piece. They sold for $99.95 each, plus shipping. Pepper's back there playing with boxes. I gotta make sure she didn't get up. She likes to get up here and then knock something over. Don't you get up there. I'm gonna have to chase her out. Hey, you gotta get out. You can't get back here. Mess up people's stuff. I'll give you a treat and then I'll let you out. Come on. There you go. Here's your treat right here. So tell me where you're at in this whole thing. Am I right in saying that the vast majority of folks have other streams of income? They use this to gain freedom for themselves, to gain ownership over a part of their life that they don't have at work. Where are you at? Is this, are you retired? Do you have a family income that is enough to allow you to make $20,000, $30,000 a year reselling, and that's more than enough and keeps you occupied and gives you time for the other stuff in life? I'm just curious. I just don't think that there's that many people out there who are making $100,000 a year net profit reselling, and it supplies their whole family with everything that they need. But I could be wrong, and I want to kind of explore that down below in the comments and talk to y'all a little bit. So leave your comment in your situation below. For me, I can say I'm absolutely addicted to the idea of being able to wake up when I want, even if I got to put in 75 hours a week, to be able to pick up on a Wednesday and take the kids to Thomas Jefferson's second home, or to see Red Hill and Patrick Henry, or to go watch a movie in the middle of the day. And I will do anything to continue it, even if there's a dip in reselling. And I've had a few dips over the last few years. And matter of fact, this last week has not been great. But, right around the corner is the next great day. Made in the USA, Fruit of the Loom, Enron Corp t-shirt, single stitch, $19.95 plus shipping. I've said before that I could go back to teaching if I had to, but I don't want to. I might someday, who knows? I've got 9 years to get a full pension. You never know how things will change, so that's always in my back pocket. But ideally, I wouldn't. And at least as a teacher, you know how you have those long breaks, spring break, Christmas break, summer break, and you have that ability to go do those things. But a lot of people's jobs just don't allow that. And I want that freedom to be able to do that. Even if we don't do it, just the freedom to have it is nice. But in reality, I probably, if things took a dip, I said social media is my side hustle. You want to talk about wild swings of income. I mean, it's nothing you can count on. It's not like it's like this steady train of money. It's like, whoa, and then it's like, oh, and it's all over the place. Kind of like reselling, but you got to live beneath your means, because you just never know what's going to happen. And I think a lot of resellers out there, that's the biggest part. You have a month of slow sales and that's the only income you have. Boy, that's devastating, and it really makes you crave the stability of that job. But most people, I think, are like me, where you would view yourself as self-employed and you would find a way. Now, I'm not skilled. I can't do like some people I know. Leroy did this for a while, blood, sweat, and sell. He stopped reselling and he had a gig where he was going to make some other money, and then he came back to reselling. And people can do that stuff on the weekends if they're a handyman and all that stuff. I can't. I don't have those skills. But I do hustle. And so I'm thinking like this. I'm like, well, my wife does this. She wants to do DoorDash, and we're still reselling. I'm like, I could deliver pizzas. I would find a way to make it work, because I so love the ability to control my own future. Hey, I forgot last week I had this Rugrats sale, and I got it all boxed and ready. This sale on Dibdit. This is a Dibdit.com sale. Do I have the name? I don't think I have the name of who bought this. I might have to look it up, but if not, thank you. This is Reptar cereal. This was deal of the day, and it was together. And then they also came in and bought the PVC figures from Dick Tracy. Dick Tracy and Breathless Mahoney. I just love these things. I don't know why I love them so much, but I do. And they bought those for $15.99 plus shipping total for those right there, because this was on deal of the day over there, so we appreciate that. I looked it up, and that was from Treasure Seeker over there on Dibdit.com. I have to also give a thank you to Mills for buying plans for the Commonwealth Picker shipping table over on CommonwealthPicker.com. So there you go, right there. You can see some of my other side hustles, right? I'm the owner of the marketplace on Dibdit.com. I sell merch. I do whatever. I'm on social media. That's my side hustle. That's why I don't always get the criticism of, oh, well, you're not a real reseller and all that stuff, because I'm a hustler. That's what I am. I want to be self-employed. And so I think most people who do what we do are hustlers out there. And I think that most people have other streams of income. And there are some that don't. And when it goes bad, I feel for you. Sold some shoes, some Nike Reacts. I bought these at a sale. They were $5. There was a bunch of $5 shoes. And so when I see that, I just buy them all if I see one winner in there. And this was not the best one, but I'm like, hey, these should definitely sell for more than $5. Look at this with the tag. And they sold quickly for $30 plus shipping. Kind of reminds me of something in a different way. You know, when I was September was a difficult sourcing month for me. So I didn't just sit around and pout. I just said, okay, it's just not having the success that I typically have. The weather and all the stuff that came through here knocked out a Saturday. Actually knocked out 2 Saturdays, but one of them wasn't terrible. And then a couple of weekends, the sourcing just wasn't great on my typical sourcing. So I was like, okay, I need stuff. So I'm going to go out and find it. I went to thrift stores with my wife. It wasn't incredibly fruitful, but it was something. And I bought that storage unit. And I did a private pick of a clean out of a basement. I mean, I went out and I made, well, I already had the context, but I went out and I made it happen. And I think that's the mentality of so many people out there, especially if you're under the pressure of, you know, paying, you know, $8 for a little bit of hamburger meat or something. It's a little bit crazy right now. You got to make the income go up. And if you can't make it go up that much in reselling because it's struggling, then you got to go do that side hustle, whatever that is, or go get a job. And it's tough for some folks. Another Dibdit.com sale. This is Baroness deal of the day over there. Retro Wasteland, picked it up. And these, I put deal of the day over there. I put them on better deals than on eBay. Just, well, I want to move people over there for their buying their Christmas gifts. So giving them some deals. This one right here is $19.97, and I'm surprised to see I paid $0.25 for it, I think, or 50 cents at a sale. I saw it sitting there. I'm like, I was hoping it was an old one, but it was a 97. But this one goes for like 15 bucks. Sold for $7.95 plus shipping. I even broke my rules a little bit because I was having difficulty sourcing. And this is an example. This isn't exactly, it's a Nike Dry Fit Swamp, and I paid $1 for it, but it's a hard seller at 15 bucks, which is where I try to be. But I still bought it, and I still sold it. $12.30 on an offer plus shipping. Back in again for another item. This is another jacket, which is good. All that work, boy, and we need space for jackets. We listed all of them. There were some long days, but at least it pays off. $24 for this one. I paid $2 for it, so $2 into $24 plus shipping for a members only jacket. And they're not great money, but you got to find them in decent condition. Some of them are good. You just got to be careful which ones you're buying. The colors are always good as well, but they got to be clean. A lot of people wear them for 80s days and stuff like that at school, or maybe Halloween parties or something. But I'll take $2 into $24 plus shipping. Holy moly, back for another jacket. Here's another example of having trouble sourcing on a Saturday, and I looked at these. This lady had tons of stuff on a rack, and it was all priced. Like, this jacket was probably 20 bucks. Maybe 25 for this woman's Harley jacket. And they had tons of Harley stuff in there. They had, I don't know, what else did they have? They had some Nike Dry Fit. They had some Carhartt and some other stuff like that. And a lot of it looked like, you know, $15 stuff. And it was priced at $15. Or $20 stuff. Or $30 stuff. But that stuff was priced at $20 or $25. And there's this whole rack full of them. I said, hey, I'll buy the whole rack, 300 bucks. And she's like, oh, yeah, no problem. I'm like, huh, I got these things for under $4 a piece. It's not what I really wanted to sell, $4 into 20 or whatever. But there were so many winners in there that were going to be $30 winners. I'm like, this is going to be a great deal. So I spent $300. I'll probably net profit over $1,000 minimum on it. And there's been some good stuff. So a lot of it, there's a few pieces we'll probably sell in lots over there, just to get them out the door quicker on shopcommons.net. Harley lot, we've already sold it by the time you watch this video, and we'll probably end up making like 8 or 9 a piece as opposed to 14 or 15, but that's okay. And this Harley went out the door, $29.95 plus shipping, sold quickly. I guess I should show you the back. Did I already show you the back? Sometimes I forget what I'm doing. So I'll take it. You know, it's hard to source sometimes, and when it's hard, you gotta make it work. Speaking of my side gig, social media, that's my side gig. I had a viewer sale today on eBay, and the Dibdit ones are undoubtedly viewers, but this, out of the rest of eBay sales, I don't believe anybody was. But this one is, they bought 2 pieces of Tupperware, and this one's got a crack in it. I believe that lid does. I believe we had that in the picture. I want to double check, make sure. If we didn't put it in there, then I screwed something up. And I'll make it right with you, but I'm pretty sure we did. And then these cups, I think this is $14.95. This one was, let me see, I wrote it down here. $14.95 for this one as well, plus shipping. And then 2 more sales. And before I forget, I want to thank Dwight. It says repeat buyer, which would happen if they bought multiple things, but a lot of times it's going to be a viewer. So Dwight, thank you. I sold a cool little Snoopy lunch bag for, I don't remember what. I believe this Snoopy lunch bag sold, I paid $1. Sold for $12.95, I think, for that one. Yep, $12.95 for this vintage Snoopy and Woodstock lunch bag, plus shipping. I take it back, that sold for $14.95 as well. This is what sold for $12.95 plus shipping. Something I would not have picked up, but I bought it in a box full of Steeler stuff, so I looked it up. And they sell, believe it or not. Those Steeler cups sold for $12.95 plus shipping. Turner's got some Commonwealth comedy for you. His hair's messed up because he's doing VR. What you got?
Why does a ghost go crazy on Black Friday?
Why does a ghost go crazy on Black Friday? I don't know. Why?
Because he's a bargain haunter.
Bargain haunter. I love it. Good job, bud.
Bye.
There's the dog. All right, Larry's mama and Reagan are fighting because you didn't check your messages.
I didn't, because nothing came up on the notifications.
No names in here, y'all. No names here. All right, who are you thinking today?
Kathy got a We Get Things Moving sticker.
Mm-hmm.
A giant
Animated
man and a junkyard flipper sticker. And then Keith and Yvonne got number 3 Emma Man.
And we couldn't remember if we thanked them or
Yeah.
not yet, so we decided, Reagan said, we just might as well do it again.
Ow.
Wouldn't hurt. Thank you, Reagan.
Bye, and don't forget to get your stickers at CommonwealthPicker.com.
Decided to come out to the other cabin because I forgot that I haven't done a Dibbed It deal of the day, and then we'll close the video out in here. So I just looked around at some of the stuff that I just brought in here, and I thought maybe I'd do Brother Bear, but that's actually an exclusive one. I think those actually go for like 45 bucks. I'm gonna maybe find, I got a lot of books. What would be a cool Dibbed It item? Maybe down there, maybe a plush somewhere. You know what? I know what I'm gonna do. Here, we're gonna put this one over here, deal of the day. These go for good money, actually. This is I don't know if they're vintage yet, but this is a Lilo and Stitch, but it's a beanie. And these comp out at like, pre-owned, comp out at like $19 plus shipping. This one's got the tag on it, and we're going to put that over there on Dibbed It deal of the day. I don't know, what do you think? What's a good deal? How about $9.95 for that one? Plus shipping. All right, y'all, I'm going to do a little bit more work today, but let me know in the comments below, is reselling your side hustle? Do you have a side hustle for your side hustle? Do you have 3 side hustles to make sure you don't have to have a job? Do you have a job and multiple side hustles? Tell me where you're at down below. Appreciate you stopping by, and I can't wait to see you next time.